All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And of course, thanks for subscribing and liking the video. We truly appreciate it. As I mentioned in the last software update where we had a Model Y, we are now back in our Legacy X with the latest update, latest production update, non-FSD beta 2022.28.2, which brings two big features that Tesla owners have been asking about for a while in alternate routes and theater mode. So let's jump into them. Let's talk about them, talk about how game-changing they are to the Tesla experience. All right, so let's first and foremost start with alternate routes. Everyone knows that Google Maps powers the Tesla map system. That's what makes it so great. But it also has a bunch of features in Google Maps that are not available in the Tesla Maps variant of that, and that we sort of talked about. One of those was being able to have trip planning. That's something that's really big inside of Google Maps. But it wasn't in the Tesla navigation system for a while. And all of a sudden, enough complaining, enough issues, finally during the reveal of the Plaid, did Elon agree and cave in to the demands and say they were going to give us waypoints to be able to have different stops on the route. The next part of that, the next part of the features that are highly requested from Google beyond waypoints is the alternate routes. Being able to select which route based on the time, based on traffic and other conditions is going to get you to your destination fastest, and being able to apply that to your navigation route in your Tesla. All right. So this is very, very good, especially with the new visualization that they have here for traffic, to be able to clearly see how traffic is impacting your route. That's another sort of feature that they've added as well to this. So we'll talk about that as well. So it's pretty big. The release notes read, view up to 3 routes when navigating to a destination. Quickly compare the total travel time and traffic information for each route. Note, traffic information is only displayed with premium connectivity. So again, just Tesla wanting to make sure you're paying for your connectivity. I remember the days when connectivity was promised for free. Elon, this is really great because it shows you up to 3 different routes that you can choose from to get to your destination the fastest and the most convenient based on the route and based on traffic conditions. All right, so this is pretty cool. Let's actually try this out in practice. I'm gonna jump right here. And a couple of other things you want to note here is as you go to navigation, it also has a suggested tab. This is also something that's part of the native Google app experience, the native Google map experience that they're now pulling back down into your Tesla. So you have suggested, which is basically some of your more frequented destinations that it'll put up here and give you as a suggestion, which is great. So instead of you having to scroll down and keep hitting the same one over and over again, if you don't have it as a favorite, it'll give you some suggestions. Favorite destinations are great for things that you do frequently, going to work, going to someone's house, dropping off the kids to school, so on and so forth. And if you don't have a favorite and it's just something that you frequent a lot, like a Target run, like we have here, it's going to have Target up here. It's going to have some other places up here that you might frequent often and give it as suggestion. So now your history is now going to go below that fold. This is sort of an undocumented change here. And then you'll be able to go there. So I'm going to go to Times Square, New York. It's going to actually plot my course out, do the calculations, and do the math in terms of traffic and all that good stuff. And now it's going to show me 2 different routes. One route's going to be an hour. The other route is going to be 38 minutes based on traffic. It's going to tell me that's the fastest one. And again, it's going to show me the $ and show me that it's a toll road. So as you see here, older processor, older MCU, takes a little bit more time to pop up and all the information to appear, but you have those options here and you're able to plot that course. You're also seeing that new visualization, which is now intersecting with the path planning line for your navigation route. Before it was sort of under it, and it kind of looked like this, where it has the bi-directional traffic where you can't really understand when this line is on top of it, whether the traffic is in your path or not. This makes it a lot simpler by consolidating it and showing you where areas are congested along your route. All right, so I'll pop out to this view. And you'll start to zoom in a little bit more and you'll see, again, just different areas. Here's that tunnel that we always go through, Lincoln Tunnel. You'll see the different traffic patterns here and showing how that impacts your route. And again, this route is 38 minutes. And you can still also choose the alternate route once it kicks in. Once you lock into a path, you can always go back in here, choose the alternate route, vice versa. You can click on the line itself, or you can click on the little card here that pops up here as well. So either way works. And those are just 2 paths right now because there's only 2 major ways to get into the city in this direction here. That makes sense, that are under an hour effectively. So if there was another way or another path or another direction, it would show me 3 different routes here that would allow me to choose up to 3. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty game changing. That actually puts the Tesla system a little bit further beyond what other systems are doing. I know some other systems have some alternate routing, and I know that's cool, but the Google Map interface is just superior to everyone else, the Garmin interfaces and all the other older interfaces, built-in car interfaces. Okay, so it kind of puts it more on par with Android Auto, which uses Google Maps natively to be able to display that information, and gives you a lot of flexibility into how you want to drive and how you want to go. All right. Now, the actual planning of this route is also based on your preferences. If you have any settings here that say avoid tolls, that says avoid ferries, use HOV lanes, if it's going to save you a certain amount of time, all that's still factored in. Nothing changes there, but the routes that are available to you allow you to sort of override that based on certain conditions. And sometimes it might switch back to the older route if it feels like it's going to save you more time. But you can always override it by selecting a designated route here. Hey, I don't want to do the fastest route. I want to do the most convenient route for me and go the hour way and, you know, do whatever you need to do there. So that is pretty cool. That is pretty game changing here. It's really, really cool to see this. We're missing this in the Model Y that we had because it wasn't quite on this update, specifically being able to see the traffic. This is a huge deal for Tesla owners, to be able to see the traffic that's impacting your route, which is pretty awesome, just to be able to clearly see what's happening, what's affecting you versus what's not. Because when you zoom in here, it gets pretty messy, as you can see there. All right, so this is pretty cool. Awesome feature, awesome update from Tesla on this one. Truly appreciate the detail here. All right, guys, the next update that we have here is a pretty big update that seems small, but it is big in the grand scheme of things. And that is going to be the theater mode. It says full screen theater mode can now be minimized, allowing access to vehicle controls without video playback interruption. Tap the minimize screen button on the top left corner of the window to toggle full screen mode. Okay, so this is a big one. It doesn't seem like a big one, but it is a big one. And here's why. A while ago, I made a video on Twitter, I'll play that right now, talking about how there was a security risk when you're in theater mode, specifically when you're at a supercharger or somewhere where you have your back to most people because you're watching theater mode. Everything goes dark. And more importantly, on the new Model S and X, you couldn't have that lock icon up here, so you couldn't quickly lock your vehicle. So you close the door, activate theater mode, and what winds up happening is when you activate theater mode, you don't have access to the controls to lock your car. So I made a video, a Twitter video about that, tweeted it out, but then answered my question immediately by finding out that if you have the new S and X, and it maybe also works for the 3 and Y, you can swipe from the left and that will bring open the menu. You can bring open the menu there to be able to lock the door and do things like that. But I guess that kind of escalated to other people. Other people may have had the same problem, the same issue, because there was other things you couldn't do, like manipulate the temperature and the temperature controls while theater mode was open, because it would cover those controls up with its full screen mode. So long story short, we as well as other owners have raised the issue, and Tesla has now implemented a fix in the fact that it now allows you to minimize the theater app without closing it. Now, if you have a Model S and X, the new ones, the refresh, the Palladium ones, there was the workaround of using the rear screen. You could use the rear screen by opening up the theater there, as well as having it play here. And when you minimize this one or close this one, that one in the back would be playing. And then when you resume the application on the front, it would just resume because it was playing in the back. So that was sort of the workaround. If you wanted to do something quickly, just reach back, open it up on the rear screen, and then you could close that one and do whatever you need to do on the screen and then reopen it again. That was the S and X, the new one. That's not applicable for everyone else that doesn't have a rear screen. So the issue still persists that if you close the theater app, it's closed and you have to open back up and restart it all over again. So now they made this difference. Let's check it out right now. Let's go here. Let's go to YouTube, for instance. And as you see immediately, the icon is right here to minimize that app. No other icons are here. No lock icons, no temperature icons, which is what typically was there before for certain vehicles. And you had the battery percentage as well there, especially, which is helpful when you're charging. But as you see here in this Legacy X, we don't have the bottom controls, none of the quick icons, none of the temperature controls. So the only way you could actually get to those would be to close the app like this, minimize it, or close it all together. So I can't let this go and stop. That's another pet peeve I have for the legacy models, because we have split screen. We have the ability to minimize apps here. We would love to be able to minimize the theater app here for the legacy version. We can't do that anymore. They used to be able to have split screen apps on the screen. No longer. I let this go. It goes right there at the most. If I go down further than that, it goes away completely and it shuts off. And so what we want to do is we want to be able to access things without completely shutting down our media. And this allows us to do that with this new screen. I won't mind this loading right now. I'll just show you right now that as we have this screen loading, I'll just let it load. Slower processor, older. Got to figure out a way to support these vehicles. It's getting bad. The new version 11, on a side note, is really bogging down these older cars, making them a lot slower than they used to be. All right, so here we go. It's here, and now we can minimize. And now we have access to climate controls, quick menus, the actual menu itself, which appears over the theater app. So if I want to make some adjustments beyond this, I can do that. And then my theater is still here playing. So this is really, really cool. Again, adding to the Tesla experience of being able to enjoy the car, enjoy the features without having to choose what you want to do, being able to multitask effectively. Okay, so you can do this for Netflix, you can do this for Hulu, you can do this for all the different apps that they have in the theater mode. Now note that some regions don't have all these apps. Some are restricted. Some are swapped for the region appropriate app version of that app, like TikTok and Hulu and Disney Plus, etc. Some of them are not there. So just be mindful of that. This is US. So in the US, we have all of these. But in your region, in your country, you may have different versions of these or variants of these, or you might have some of these, might not have some of these at all. So this is an overall great update, 2 big updates of it. There may be some other updates that other places have gotten, other cars have gotten. But for this car, the Legacy S and X, we haven't forgot about you guys. These are some really good updates for this car, being able to have this feature. Again, being able to minimize and go from here. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think about this particular release. Let me know if you got it. Let me know what you think about the new navigation updates. We think those are game-changing updates that really enrich the Tesla experience and make it more versatile in terms of calculating your destination, traveling and routing through traffic and all that good stuff, and visualizing that traffic as well to make it easier to understand. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and until the next time, enjoy your day and enjoy your Tesla.